Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing.
I'm a little behind, so take your time. Okay, it's a little quiet, so you can give it a little more.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, Spartan fans, good morning and welcome to DiSanto Field, where the CWRU soccer programs kick off the conference season with a doubleheader against the NYU Violets. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brendan Dames, and I will be here with you throughout all the action today. First for the matchup on the women's side, and later today at approximately 1:30 for the men's matchup. It's been a great start to the Alyssa Johnson era here in Cleveland, as the first-year head coach for the Spartans has helped navigate her squad to a 7-0-3 record throughout non-conference play, including a 1-0 victory last Saturday against in-state opponent Ohio Wesleyan. However, the road ahead presents a far more difficult challenge for the Spartans as UAA play begins today and will feature matchups with 6 top 25 opponents, including the 16th ranked Violets here today. The 12th ranked Spartans will look towards the upstart junior Alexis Sassauer, who has scored 5 goals for her team so far this season, as well as all UAA goaltender Maggie Storty to start the conference slate with a win in front of their home crowd. For the visitors from the Big Apple, it's been a similarly successful season as the Violets share that 7-0-3 mark with the Spartans under second-year head coach Scott Waddell, and they may be coming off their biggest win of the season thus far, earning a 1-0 impressive road victory at the University of Scranton on Tuesday, those opponents receiving votes in that top 25, and their lone goal was scored by the impressive Hunter Holscher, who is second on the team with 4 goals so far. There's a lot more to unpack here in this incredible matchup, but it's time to meet the starting 11 for each squad. First here for the visiting NYU Violets, who are in their vibrant violet kits. As you see here, the NYU team breaking out of their huddle. In goal today will be number 1, the graduate student from Pennington, New Jersey, Riley Felsher. Felsher has made all 10 starts in goal so far this year for the Violets, just allowing 5 goals and saving 27 shots. We're underway here at DiSanto Field as the Spartans control the opening kick. They work the right side of the field as we will continue to introduce the visitors, the NYU Violets. At defense will be Elizabeth Argiano, number 4. Number 12 on defense, Bryce Chan. Number 16, Rachel Kim. And number 25, Riley Moladi. In midfield will be number 30, Jessica Tonthat. Number 28, Kelly Keedy. Number 11 is Hope Neal. Also in the midfield, number 8, Rena Kalargiagos. And number 6, Eileen Shu. In the forwards, number 13, Hunter Holscher. She is number 13. And number 23, Alexa Bucksbaum. So the Spartans clear the ball out to the side here, as we'll now quickly introduce the Case Western Reserve starting lineup, as NYU now gets into the attacking third of the Spartans, as we're just nearing a minute in here of play. For the Spartans, it will be Storty, the former All-UAA goaltender, in goal. And in front of her, lining up on the defense, will be Kat Saruhouse, Katie Rochelle, Kinsley Gutman, as a nice save there from the Spartans to start us off here in the second minute. In the midfield, we have Mackenzie Mueller, Kaylee Bannock, Jamie Goldfarb, and Sydney Schneck. While at forward, we have Alexis Sassauer, Cece DePino, and Molly Shama. We also had a change to the lineup, as the regular starter Abigail Manessis was a late scratch in favor for the freshman Abby Welker. So we're just at the 2-minute mark here in the first half as the Violets control the ball. As I mentioned at the top of the telecast, both teams coming into today's action at 7-0-3. And this does serve as the UAA opener for both squads. NYU here with some early possession, as nice work over there to try to save the ball, but it will be returned over back to the Spartans, where it's controlled by Sassauer. No foul call there on the aggressive play from Chen, as we have a forward pass to Meneses. And it's now controlled back over by the Spartans. Some aggressive play here early on, some physicality on this early Saturday morning. And the ball will be a throw in here for the Spartans. Early in the warm-ups today, Coach Waddell, who's in his second season at NYU, was bringing the intensity in the warm-ups, making sure his Violets were going to be passing the ball crisply. And so far early here in action, we can see that in the possession that they are holding, as we have a through ball that's controlled by Case Western in the back end and cleared forward into the attacking third. Looked like it might have been a handball there, but no call. But it is going to be turned over, and it's now in control by Sydney Schneck. She finds on the right side Molly Shama, who forwards it in, but the ball is knocked away by the Violets. Nice touch by Shama as she will try to go towards the goal. But it is over the net, and it will be a goal kick for the Violets. NYU playing their 8th away game of the season thus far. They've won 4 times, have yet to lose, and have drawn 3 times. The Spartans, on the other hand, this is their 5th home game, where they have a perfect 4-0-0 mark so far this season. Just now coming up on about 5 minutes here in the first half. Once again, the Violets control possession as they look to forward it into the attacking third of the Spartans. Controlled nicely on the wing, but some nice physical defense by the Spartans. And there's a penalty, and it's a foul against the Violets, which will result in a free kick for the Spartans. So the Spartans will aim to begin their possession here. But once again, it's controlled by the Violets, who have done a nice job so far this morning controlling the game. But the Spartans have been aggressive, looking to get that ball there. Some nice pressure from Shama, as the Violets continue to control the tempo with Keedy in the middle of the field on the Spartans logo. And she finds Kim here on the near side, looking forward for Argiano. Argiano puts it ahead, but it's going to be a little too long for Hope Neal. And that's going to result in a goal kick. So nice work there by the defense for Case Western Reserve to make sure that they could earn that goal kick and not get themselves stuck in the corner. It's a beautiful, picturesque, perfect, oh, a dangerous pass there in front of the net, as it's played well by Storty to get it out of there. Once again, controlled here by the Violets. The Spartans work to clear. Nice play there by the freshman Welker, who is making her first start of her Case Western Reserve career here this afternoon. And the ball there is cleared away by Goldfarb, the midfielder for the Spartans. So as I was mentioning earlier, it's a beautiful day here in Cleveland, Ohio. Also a busy day in Cleveland, Ohio, as the Cleveland Guardians will begin their MLB playoff journey against the Detroit Tigers here at about 1 o'clock. So you can expect some updates on the Major League Baseball side here in Cleveland throughout that second matchup today, as once again the Spartans here earn a free kick as they look to put some offensive zone time on the NYU end. The Spartans hit it into the box, but it's cleared out nicely by the Violets. And the Violets have gained possession here. They got a little 3-on-2 break if they want it. It's going to be pushed ahead by number 28, Keedy. And she finds her teammate on the wing, who's now leading the 3-on-2 charge. Back to Keedy in the center as she finds number 13, Holscher on the side, who scored their lone goal this week in their non-conference matchup. Number 11 off the post is no good. It's controlled in front, and it's scored. But it is waved off, as there is an offsides call, and so an early goal wiped off the table, as the shot by Hope Neal pinned off the top crossbar And Case Western Reserve dodges an early bullet here as the score remains 0-0 in the first 8 minutes instead of a trailing 1-0 deficit here at home. Wow, so a lot of early action here for the Violets on the Case Western Reserve end. It's controlled by Neal, who works it around to her teammates as the Violets look to switch fields. Worked over to Kim as the Violets continue to dominate early time of possession here at DiSanto Field. It is Kelly Keeley who makes a nice pass to Hope Neal on the right side. Neal looking to save it before it goes out of bounds. She does. She looks to center it, but it is disrupted there by the Case Western defense. Thrown in front of the net by number 4, Argiano, but it is saved again by the goaltender, Maggie Storty. Those Violets are keeping the Case Western Reserve defense and Storty busy here early on, as they are getting plenty of time in the Case Western defensive zone. There goes out, the ball goes out of bounds, and it will be Case Western Reserve's possession near midfield. Let's see if the Spartans can control the possession a bit here as they now control it down in the midfield. As they turn it over to the near side of the field where they're able to find Molly Shama in the corner. She's going to center it, and it's going to be once again disrupted there by the Violets, who are always looking towards the offensive zone right now. But that pass not successful to Holscher, and it will be Case Western Reserve's ball right here in front of me as CWRU throws it in. Some nice aggressive defense there by the Spartans to try to get that ball back after the throw-in. It's not successful as it is controlled by Neal and pushed forward by the Violets. A nice through ball there, but it is going to be interrupted by the Spartans, but it's fought for, and it's won here by Keedy. Keedy centers it in front of the net. Oh, and a great opportunity once again for the Violets. But this time, Hunter Holscher could not quite get that ball on net. But once again, the Violets putting the pressure on the Spartans here, and we are just 10 minutes in to this action. So a busy start here for those Spartans in the defensive zone, as the ball now goes back to CWRU, who earns them another throw-in as it goes off of the senior Hope Neal from Syosset, New York. And once again, we'll get another throw-in as it goes off of Neal again. So NYU now has 2 early shots and 1 on goal, while Case Western Reserve is still looking for that first goal. Hope Neal is being busy here today as she is once again looking at a throw-in, but it looks like she got a little bit of action there to the face. Looks like she might be looking for a contact as she runs over to the sideline to look for some assistance here. I mentioned Neal being busy here so far this afternoon, this being 11th start of the season for Neal, who has 3 goals, 2 assists, and 8 points for the Violets in the non-con slate. Neal actually started 11 games as a freshman, scoring 4 goals, so she has been someone for the Violets that they have been able to rely on here the past 4 seasons. And so as Neal heads out, play resumes. The Spartans here maintain possession as they look to try to control some ball and some tempo for the first time this afternoon. But not on the same page there are Case Western Reserve teammates as Shama kicks it out of bounds as she was trying to find CWRU, and it will be a throw-in for the Violets. It is Hunter Holscher controlling the ball here as she gets it to Keedy, who's been a great force so far for the Violets in the midfield. As once again, the Violets focusing on possession. Here is Kim as she forwards it, looking for Holscher. Holscher was just on sides there as she makes a nice touch to make sure that ball gets controlled by her teammate. And Holscher now has it on the near side, looking to make a move as she finds Keedy, who will wisely play it back. It is Argiano looking in the middle of the field. A nice touch there, but ultimately cleared out by the Spartans just for a moment, though, as the Violets maintain their pressure. Now with the ball is Muladi, as she is fighting through two Case Western defenders here on the far side. Muladi really battling, and it's going to be a corner kick for the Violets. So our first corner kick of the afternoon. Hope Neal back into action here as she stands near the front of the box. And number 30, Jessica Taunthat, is going to be doing the corner kick here. The Spartans have two on the post. Holscher stands in front of the net. It's a nice ball in. It's going to be headed in by number 12. Not near the goal, though, remotely, and it's going to come all the way back out to the Spartans, but once again beat to the ball by number 16, Rachel Kim. And man, these Violets are coming here to play today as they have really dominated possession. They're first to a lot of balls here. And you know that's going to be something that Alyssa Johnson wants her Spartans to improve upon as the match goes on. So nice defense, though, on ball by Kat Saruhouse. And she forces the goal kick. And let's see now if the Spartans can finally start to weather this quick storm here by NYU. I mentioned earlier, Scott Waldell was fired up earlier on here before the All-UAA matchup between two ranked teams. And that energy that the head coach was bringing pre-game has certainly followed his team into these opening 10 minutes. Here come the Spartans as they look to progress the ball over midfield. Some nice defense here from the Violets, but the Spartans are able to progress the ball forward as DePino throws it forward, hoping that one of her teammates will be there, but it falls past the baseline, and it will be a goal kick for the Violets. A nice crowd here for this Saturday morning. Again, we have a doubleheader, so lots of folks here in Cleveland who want to enjoy some soccer while they enjoy their morning coffee. Can get two games for the price of one. Nicely stolen there by Shama, but there is an offsides call. And the ball will be right back over to the Violets. As you can hear on the broadcast, we also do have the Case Western Reserve Pep Band here this morning. Always good to have some college athletics with a college band in the background to get you going, especially here on a Saturday morning. Hopefully the band can also give our Spartans some energy here this morning, as we are now about 15 minutes in, and Case Western Reserve still looking for that first shot and really the first possession in the Violets' end this afternoon. But once again, here come the Violets as they are putting pressure back on the Case Western end. Some nice ball movement there, and it's going to be flicked out by the Tigers. But once again, they wait for the ball to come to them, and it's going to be controlled by the Violets. Some nice touches in the middle of the field there by Kalargaras. But it's going to be ultimately shipped away here, though it's saved nicely by Kim, who finds Neal. Neal, ball taken away by Welker. But once again, the Violets maintain possession as they advance their attack towards Storty in the Case Western Reserve defense. Far side of the field, some more action here as there's an offsides, which the Case Western Reserve defense there was looking for, and they were able to get the call, as offsides were indeed the Violets, and we will get a free kick here for the Spartans. Offside was number 28, Kelly Keaty, the graduate student from Los Gatos, California. Hope Neal, she's been everywhere here in the beginning of this game. She gets the ball in control for the Violets, but it's out of bounds, and it'll go back over to the host Spartans, who are looking to get something started here as we now are at the 28th minute mark here in the first half. 0-0 your score, as Case Western Reserve looking to get some offense going. The Violets have 4 shots, including 1 on goal here in the early going. Here's the first-year Welker with a nice pass. Give and go with her teammate as Welker now is going to look for Shama on the near side, but once again, there she is. It's Hope Neal. Hope Neal making some nice plays as she works around two defenders and now progresses up the field as she's looking for a teammate. A beautiful through ball as she finds Kelly Keedy. Keedy puts it towards the center of the field. There's going to be a touch. Storty with a great save. Oh, Maggie Storty continues to have an impressive first half for the Spartans, as if it was a beautiful through ball from the Violets. But the shot was denied by Storty, and then she ended up with the ball in her stomach, and she keeps the Violets off the scoreboard yet again. So that was a shot by Kalogaris, who was not successful as she put it right where Storty was. And Maggie Storty showing why she was that 2022 All-UAA first-team goaltender for the Spartans. Unbelievable action from Storty. Although, once again, it's stolen here by Keedy, who's now making some progress into the net, the goal box once again. She fires it in, and the header is no good. Oh, man. Once again, it is Kalogaris. Her header wide of the net. And Maggie Storty very busy here in the opening 19 minutes as the NYU Violets have come here to play this Saturday morning. Case Western Reserve gets the ball, and once again it's going to be touched and beaten to the ball by the Violets. Though a nice job there by Welker, who's done a nice job here in her first career start, controlling the ball as the Spartans work the far side of the field, and they're looking for DePino. And a nice job there to earn a throw-in for the Spartans. Throw-in is going to be controlled by the Spartans after initial touch, but once again stolen away here from the Violets, who look to center the ball, and they do so successfully, though it's ultimately going to be dumped right back to the defense line for the Spartans in CWRU House, who finds Shama on the left wing, who's looking to make a move here on the defense, but a nice play there by Argiano to prevent her from getting up the sideline. Welker there looking for CWRU House, not successful, and trying to control the ball, and it gets out of bounds for a Violets throw-in. Still 0-0, about 20 minutes now into the first half. It is Hunter Holscher with the possession, as once again the Violets do a nice job to control the ball, and they center it to the middle where the senior Kim is. They now look for Mulati. Mulati's not had to do too much here on her side of the field yet. Oh, a nice job though by the Spartans to provide some pressure on Kim, but it is ultimately going to be a foul there on the senior Sydney Schneck. So here's Kim as she looks to get the ball back into the Spartan side of the field. The ball and the pass attempt to her teammate Argiano a little long, and Argiano is not able to play it clearly. It is a Case Western Reserve throw-in that is interrupted by who else but Hope Neal, who continues to do a great job. But there it is once again, the freshman Welker interrupting the pass from Neal. And here comes the Spartans. The Spartans moving forward as they have DePino. DePino finds her teammate, who is swarmed by 3 Violet defenders. And once again, the Violets come away with the ball. It's Keedy looking for it in the center, but instead they'll opt to the outside as they find their teammate on the wing, and they'll pass it back as they're rotated around here to Kim on the near side. Rachel Kim, the senior, who's made a start in all 10 games this year and has 2 goals. It's controlled by the Spartans, as they've been very busy right here in front of me. As once again, it is CWRU House. This time it goes out of bounds, and it will be taken by number 4, who gets it to Kim. A nice pressure here on the ball, though, by the Spartans, as the Violets look to regain possession. Instead, it's right to Welker, who will get it to her teammates. And the Spartans will look to slow the tempo here maybe a little bit and be able to control the ball and maybe try to tire out the Violets a little bit defensively, who have been very aggressive with their on-ball placement. It's a nice through ball there, and it's going to go ahead to Bannock. Or excuse me, it looks like it's Sassower out there. And Sassower not able to secure possession, as it was Mulati again who was defending for the Violets. And it's a throw-in deep in their own third. Cleared out. Some nice play there by the Spartans to try to maintain possession, but instead it is going to be a foul on Goldfarb, the sophomore midfielder from White House Station, New Jersey. And it'll be a free kick for the Violets. We are just past halfway here in the first half. It is still scoreless in the UAA opener for the Case Western Reserve women's soccer team, as the Spartans here have come out a little bit slower than the visiting Violets, who have been first to every ball. But the Spartans still very much in this game, as they've done a nice job, especially their goaltender, Maggie Storty, to keep the score at 0-0, while the Violets have dominated the possession. Here's Kim on the near side, looking to once again start the attack. So helpful to have those senior leaders on the back line. And the Violets have a few of those in Mulati and Kim. This ball is going to be played back to the goaltender Storty, who clears it out near midfield, and it will be a throw-in for the Violets. Rachel Kim today is making her 53rd career start for NYU, while Mulati, also that back there on the defensive line, has 25 career starts and 25 career appearances for NYU. Mulati actually started her career at the University of Louisville, where she was there for 3 seasons before ultimately coming to NYU. So we have our first subs of the afternoon, as the senior Carolyn Katoris comes into the game. Katoris, a senior from Redondo Beach, California. See if she can bring in some action and some life to the Case Western Reserve attack here in the first half, as the Spartans have some possession here on the NYU side of the field. Some nice defense there by NYU and Kim to interrupt that possession, but they find Shama on the left side as she's going up the side of the field. She controls it nicely, looks to forward it in, but it's interrupted and stolen by the Violets. And unfortunately, Goldfarb and CWRU House not on the same page there, as the Spartans were looking to keep possession, but not on the same page, which unfortunately has been a bit of a common theme here in this first half. And it's going to be a throw-in for NYU, controlled by Holscher. Holscher fights hard to maintain possession, and she looks back to her defense line to maintain possession, but a nice job there by Goldfarb to interrupt it and get the ball back for the Spartans, as Julia Flynn is able to maintain possession, and she looks for a teammate, but unfortunately it's picked off. And up on the sideline now is Kelly Keedy. Keedy, just like Hope Neal, been very busy here in the first half. And look who she finds. It's Hope Neal on the right wing. A beautiful pass. Hope Neal is going to put it on net. I don't know if Neal was looking to perhaps hold back, as it looked like she was looking for Holscher in the middle of the field. She then tried to hold off on kicking it, but instead went off her foot and meekly out of bounds to Storty. So the Spartans here again will be kicking off a goal kick to try and regroup and reset themselves here in the first half. As Goldfarb there was shoved in the back, and it's going to be a foul that results in a Case Western Reserve free kick. Once again, the free kick just long, as they were looking for CWRU House there. And just some not very common errors here for this Spartans team in the first half, as they were not able to find each other there on that relatively routine passing play. So you may have heard there on the loudspeaker, coming into the game now for the Violets, number 21, Issa Badillo. As the ball will go over to the Spartans. Badillo is in for Kalargaris. Julia Spang now in for Hunter Holscher at forward. And Yukino Wakutsaku is in for Tan That. Ooh, an aggressive play there and a foul as landing hard on her back there. It looks like that would have been Jamie Goldfarb, who was fouled and aggressively fell on her back there, a little slow to get up. But the sophomore is able to walk it off, and she will remain in the game. And it's going to be a Case Western Reserve free kick here in the middle third, as they are looking to put some pressure on net for the first time this afternoon. As the ball is placed in the middle, it's not really able to be controlled by anybody. But it looks like we are going to have the ball be returned to the spot of the free kick. And we will do it all over again, as it looks like the referee may have been having some discourse over there with Coach Waddell for the Violets. And so Katie Rochelle will get another chance here to get the ball in the other end for the Spartans. It looks like there was a yellow card there on Badillo, which likely is the cause for the delay and the discussion that was happening there with Scott Waddell. So here comes that free kick. Once again, it's going to be put on net. And a really nice job there to be defended out by the goaltender. But there's going to be a foul here, as there was a collision between a Case Western Reserve forward and the goaltender, Riley Felsher. And Felsher now slow to get up. And Felsher looks like she's okay. But man, that was some kind of a collision there, as the Spartans, who have not been on that end of the field too often today, aggressively looking to see if they can put a shot on goal. But the collision between the Case Western Reserve attack and Felsher results now in a free kick for the Violets on their own goal box. Some real senior leadership there from Maggie Storty during the delay, as she huddled up her teammates, went through the game plan a little bit and tried to fire up her comrades, and getting some possession here for the Spartans, who have kept Storty very busy so far here in the first half. So Felsher, who is going to stay in the game, looks like she's all right, gets the ball over to Rachel Kim, who is able to once again find Argiano. And it's going to be played back to the second line of defense here for the Spartans, as Kinsley Gutman controls and gets it over to Rochelle. The Spartans here looking for some time of possession. See if they can control the ball a little bit to try to see if they can work the ball into the Violets' end. Once again, so far this afternoon, the Spartans have been held without a shot, while the NYU Violets have 7 shots, including 2 on goal. So we have some more substitutions here, as we have about 16 minutes left here in the first half. We'll share those substitutions with you in a moment, as Case Western Reserve is pressing forward. As a nice job there by CWRU House to keep it on the Violet side of the field, but it is controlled by Kim, the senior. As it's worked around, the Violets maintaining possession. The Spartans just not able to take that ball away so far very successfully. Lots of opportunities for the Violets. But if you know anything about Alyssa Johnson, you know today during that intermission break, we will be seeing some adjustments being made to make sure that the Spartans come out more aggressive here in the second half. So the ball pushed forward here as we have about 15 minutes to go in the first half. A really nice play there by Mackenzie Mueller to interrupt the ball. And she's going up the sideline, and she has a peer going up the field on the right side. She has a teammate in the middle, but it's going to be launched wide of the net. So that was the senior Katoris. It looked like she had a teammate in the middle of the field, but was not able to center it to where Cece DePino was able to make a nice touch on the ball. And instead is going to be back a goal kick here for the Violets. So those recent subs, Argiano is out for Maria Nolan. Neil Hope, who's had a busy first half for the Violets, she has been removed for Carmen Cicerini. And Raleigh Mulata, the defender, Muladi, excuse me, is now out for Maddie Zhang. The ball being returned now back to Riley Felsher. Again, the senior Felsher, similar to Storty, has a very decorated career here in the UAA. 38-5 in her career at NYU. And in the season opener, she had 9 saves against Panoma Pitzer. A very good program at the Division III level, who is also receiving votes to be ranked. So nice action here in the middle of the field as the Spartans look to get it forward to DePino. DePino not able to control it, but Welker does. And now she's able to get Goldfarb, who is able to find her teammate, Brackett, on the left side of the field. It's Brackett with a nice centering pass, but played nicely there by the Violets. Brackett putting together a nice effort here to try to keep the ball in possession, and Goldfarb wins the 50-50 ball, but it's going to be pushed forward into the arms of Riley Felsher. But the Spartans here starting to see a little bit of action now, and they're attacking third. As with 13 minutes left now here in the first half, the Spartans are starting to show some signs of life on the other end. It's a stalwart, Rachel Kim, into the game, and she passes the ball forward. It's going to be saved by NYU's Cicerini, who finds her teammate Kelly Keaty. Oh, a nice play there by Keaty to maintain possession near the corner, but right into the arms of Maggie Storty. And with 12 minutes left to go here in this first half, the score remains 0-0. It's number 17, Gutman, controlling on the back line for the Spartans as they look to push it forward into the offensive zone. But it looks like they're Welker and her teammate on the far side not on the same page. And it'll be turned back over to the Violets, who once again are making 2 more substitutions. Make it 3 substitutions here with just over 12 minutes to go here in the first half. So the Violets maintain possession here. Rachel Kim, as the pep band plays some Billie Eilish. That's going to be a sloppy pass from number 35, Julia Spang. And it goes out of bounds, controlled now by the Spartans. A nice touch by Welker, who then is able to get the ball to her teammate in the center of the field. It is DePino who falls down. That was a close call there, as it looked like Rachel Kim may have got that foot in there on the ball first, but instead the referee agrees with DePino that she got foot first. And so it's going to be a free kick for the Spartans. And it is going to be DePino who sets up that free kick with Saru House by her side. About 10 feet, or 10 yards, excuse me, in front of the ball is a miniature wall for the Violets. DePino does take the kick, but it's no problem for Riley Felsher as the ball goes straight into her arms, and she now rolls it out to her teammate Kim as we near 10 minutes to play here in the first half. But once again, the Spartans really starting to play a bit more in the offensive zone as the Violets, who really dominated possession and dominated offensive opportunities in the first 20 minutes, have not seen Maggie Storty in that defensive end quite as much here as the second half's gone on. As the Violets get possession here, off at the throw-in and center it. The Spartans do seem to be much more aggressive on ball here as the half's gone on. Though right there we see it again from the Violets as they are able to steal back possession and get the ball there to their freshman, Julia Spang. Once again, a ball is won by the Spartans as it goes up the far side. A nice touch there to center it. It's going to be controlled by DePino at the top of the box, who throws it in, but once again denied by Kim. And now the ball is going to be somewhat cleared out, but interrupted by Jamie Goldfarb as they get Brackett on the boundary, but we're going to have an offsides. Some good moments here in the first half for Taylor Brackett, the first year from Barrington, Illinois. As the Violets looks to get it back in the Spartans' defensive zone, but a nice job once again by Case Western Reserve to make sure that does not happen. It's CWRU House who's able to maintain possession as she finds Gutman, who works over to Rochelle, who ultimately gets it back to Storty to reset things here for the Spartans. Just under 9 minutes to go here in the UAA opener. It's the NYU Violets 0, the Case Western Reserve Spartans 0. If you're just joining us, it is the Violets in the vibrant violet kits with Case Western Reserve in the white with the Case Western Reserve blue trim. Both teams ranked coming into this matchup. Case Western Reserve 12th in the country, Spartans 16th, and both having a similar record of 7-0-3. So we have some play here in the middle of the field. Neither team really able to own possession, though it is poked forward into the Violets' defensive zone. Will be played back to Felsher. Felsher looks to move it up towards the center circle, where it's once again controlled by the Violets. Done a good job in this first half of taking care of the ball and creating some really great shot attempts. If you missed it about 10 minutes into the game, a beautiful opportunity for NYU, as it was Reina Kalagaros who put a shot on net, but Storty saved it and kept the score 0-0, as here Rachel Kim with a nice through pass, but nobody's there on the other end. And it will go to the knees of Storty, who maintains possession and looks to reset things for her Spartans with 7 minutes to go in the first half. The Spartans will reset it with the senior Rochelle, as she makes a nice pass to the center of the field with DePino. Brackett trying to stay on size. She does, and she now is going to race and try to get there first, but the ball instead is going to go long. So a nice idea there as the freshman Brackett signaled to her teammate DePino to get her the ball up the sideline, but unfortunately it was out of play before Brackett was able to be on the receiving end. So it's Kim on the back line who gets it back over to her defensive teammate. And the ball is back to Kim here. Still 0-0. As some fresh legs looking to save some energy for one final push here. As the Violets do a good job to maintain possession, but a nice job there by Brackett to steal it. It's going to be maintained by Welker, who looks to find a cutting teammate, but instead it's interrupted once again smartly by the Violets, who bring it back to Felsher and once again out to Kim on the near side of the field. Rachel Kim, the good defender who gets it up, stolen by Brackett, the freshman. couldn't maintain possession as Brackett and DePino weren't sure who's going to try to go for that ball. But once again, it's Brackett. As she's looking to win the ball in possession, she's successful momentarily. How about the freshman Brackett? Some great minutes here in the first half. And Goldfarb with some aggressive defense. She's able to win possession, looking for Welker in the middle of the field. Not there, but it's cleared out to DePino. She winds up and shoots, but it's going to be deflected on the back line there by Shu. And it's going to be maintained by the Spartans as the ball kicks back out wide. Stolen there by the Violets, and the possession is kicked back out to midfield, where it's not going to be saved on the back line. It's going to be a streaking player for the Violets as she looks to put her shot on net, and she does. So once again, it's Maggie Storty coming through as some miscommunication at the center circle resulted in a breakaway for NYU's Carmen Cicerini, the sophomore from Euclid, Ohio, who was looking to get a goal in front of her hometown fans here at DiSanto Field. But a nice job by the defense to make sure she didn't have an uncontested opportunity on Storty. And ultimately, Storty able to make a relatively easy save to keep us 0-0 here with 4 minutes to go in the first half. So the Spartans have the ball as they look to try to get a breakaway on their own end. Welker's not even going to try to chase that down. The Spartans look to regroup their legs here with just under 4 minutes to go, trying to keep this a 0-0 ball game. As now it's the Violets with some risky ball movement in front of the net. Once again, there's that freshman Brackett who's really giving Case Western Reserve some great minutes here in the first half. It's a nice pass that is controlled in the midfield and over to Spang for the Violets, who throw it on net. But it is Badillo, who picked up the yellow card, who fires it 5 to 10 feet over Storty in the net. We're still scoreless here at DiSanto Field. The Violets have 8 shots and 3 on goal, while the Spartans have 3 shots with 1 of those being on goal. We have a substitution here as Albie Welker checks out and Ashley Liang checks in for the final 3 minutes. We also have Maggie Farrar coming into the game for Couturis. As the Violets look to move it into the offensive zone. Looking to see if they can get a late goal here in the first half. As they maintain possession as they fire a crossing shot that's headed out nicely by Saruhouse. And the Spartans are able to clear it to the midline. Rachel Kim, a very steady presence here for the Violets, is able to get it back into the offensive zone where it's centered, but ultimately cleared out. And it is Goldfarb who heads it out. And a nice job by Taylor Brackett to once again win a 50-50 ball. And she now is looking upfield for her teammate. It is Maggie Farrar who can't quite save it. So it's Maggie Farah, excuse me. And Farah not able to get to that ball. But some good ideas there between Farah and the freshman Brackett to try to see if they could get something near the net as this first half is coming to an end. The ball's controlled, and it's going to be off the foot of Goldfarb, who is looking for Farah. Farah makes a nice play to get it to DePino. DePino looks for Farah again, but Farah had another idea. And it's going to be right back to the defensive line. It looks like a handball there. Not ultimately whistled by a referee. As the pass there from Rochelle to her attack goes out of bounds. And the Violets will have a throw-in with just 42 seconds to play here in the first half. the Violets have done a nice job this afternoon creating and really maintaining the tempo that they're looking for here. And I think that's something we'll see from Case Western Reserve even more so in the second half. A little bit more of an effort to control the ball and be aggressive on the ball and try to force the Violets to make some turnovers on their end of the field. So we are winding down the final seconds here of the first half. And as the whistle blows, signaling the end of the first half, your score is the Case Western Reserve Spartans 0 and the NYU Violets 0. And so we will take a short break, and after a 15-minute halftime, we will come back to recap the first half action and be able to make sure that we get you ready for a packed Sunday here at DiSanto Field, as we have two great matchups, including this one, 0-0 at DiSanto Field, and we'll be back after a short break. Hey fans, have you downloaded the new CWRU Spartans app yet? Featuring real-time news alerts, schedules, exclusive multimedia content, game day details, and more, the new CWRU Spartans app is your free and compatible with both iOS and Android devices. Visit your phone's app store and search CWRU to download today. Welcome back here to DiSanto Field as it is halftime between the Case Western Reserve women's soccer team and the NYU Violets. The score is 0-0 through 45 minutes of play. And these next 45 minutes, we will learn a lot about how both these teams will have opened up their conference slate. In the first half, in the first 15 minutes, it seemed to be all NYU as they dominated time of possession. Overall, in the first half, they maintained possession 60% of the time. And they also have 9 shots compared to Case Western's 3, including 3 on net. But it's been the former All-UAA goaltender for the Spartans, Maggie Storty, who has come up huge for the Spartans. Storty making her 73rd collegiate start this afternoon, only losing 6 of those 73 games, and you can see why here in the first half. As about 10 minutes into the action, it was a great opportunity for Lena Kalogaris in front of the net, but ultimately Storty denied it, and then the ball was tipped back in the air into the arms of Storty. And since then, that's been the best chance for either team to get on the scoreboard this afternoon. For the Spartans, it's been a quiet half offensively, but they do have 3 shots on goal, and 2 of them coming from CC DePino. DePino, the junior from Upper Arlington, Ohio. DePino has now played in 48 matches since coming to campus, and she has 99 career goals, including 3 this year. So DePino continuing to play well for the Spartans, but they're going to need her to try to break through, or perhaps one of her other teammates. It was a quiet half for Alexis Sassauer, the junior from Chicago, Illinois, who has a team-high 13 points thus far this season, including 5 goals for the Spartans. So Alyssa Johnson and the Spartans will look to get Sassauer more involved here in the second half as well. For NYU, lots of substitutions in that first half, as after the starting 11, we saw 8 more Violets hit the field. Maria Nolan, Carmen Cicerini, who had a couple great opportunities, including a shot on goal late in the first half. Summer Stedman, Chloe Dieters, Maddie Young, Isa Badillo, Yukino Wakatsuki, and Julia Spang all getting at least 12 minutes off the bench for the Violets. On the Spartan side, it was a really strong appearance off the bench for Taylor Brackett. Taylor Brackett, the first year from Barrington, Illinois, and she brought a lot of energy and something that the Spartans will look to do a lot more of in the second half, getting to that ball first. A lot of times in that first opening 12 to 15 minutes, it was the Violets who was most aggressive, getting to the ball first, Case Western waiting for the ball to get to their feet. But then as the half went on, you could really tell that some of those substitutes, including Brackett, as well as the senior Katoris, both really came in the game and kind of changed the tone for that Spartans energy and attack in the latter half of the half. So we'll see if in the second half we see Brackett come back into the game and get a chance to do some of that more aggressive and effective play for the Spartans. So it is Brackett, as I mentioned, who's from Barrington, Illinois. She was a 2-year member of the St. Viator High School soccer team, where she was first team all-conference and Daily Herald all-area honorable mention. So comes from certainly a tremendous high school background in playing soccer. And the data science major has come through in a big way here today. As coming into today's game, Brackett had only played in 6 games, though she does have a goal in her freshman year on just 2 shots that she's put on the net. So a good half from Brackett, and we are now going to get ready to start the second half of action here at DiSanto Field. As a reminder, this is not the only action we have on this field here today, as after the conclusion of this game, we will have about an hour break before the NYU men and the Case Western Reserve men open up their conference slate at 1:30. So in between the 2 games, you can grab a bite to eat, see how those Guardians are doing down at the corner of Carnegie in Ontario, and then come back to us for some more great soccer action here on a truly picture-perfect day here in Cleveland, Ohio. From my perspective up here in the press box, not a single cloud in the sky, a beautiful background, truly one of the best Division III venues here at Case Western Reserve. A beautiful venue with student apartments lining the edges of the facility, the Wyatt Athletic Wellness Center, and of course the brand new press box I'm sitting in, and some great stands where we have a great crowd and a pep band here today supporting the Spartans as they begin conference play. So we are underway here in half number 2 as Hope Neal, who is all over the field, she maintains possession here early in the second half. For the Spartans, as I mentioned earlier, they came out a little bit slow in the first half, and they'll look here to see if they can try to dominate possession a little bit more. There we see Hunter Holscher with a little bit of an aggressive play on her end as she fires it back into the middle of the field where Neal is. And Neal not able to maintain possession, but neither is CWRU House for the Spartans, and so it will be a throw-in early on here in the second half. Hunter Holscher working on CWRU House. She fires it in the middle of the field, and a nice job there by Storty to make sure that she beat Kelly Keedy to the ball. And so it will be Storty at the top of the box, slowing things down here. We're just a minute into the first half. And Storty boots it over the midline. And there's a push in the back there from Bryce Chan. And a very sportsmanlike play there. She helped pick up DePino. And just around the midfield line, the Spartans will get the first free kick of the half, as it's booted into the box, played out nicely by Kim. And it's a pair of 11s colliding there. It's Mueller and Neal. And man, you can tell both these teams here excited for conference play, fighting hard. And I think we're going to see a great second half of action here from DiSanto Field. So ball pressure there by Hunter Holscher. And once again, it is going to be defended nicely by Mueller in the midfield. And once again on the ground is DePino, giving it everything she has here to start the second half. But ultimately it's controlled by the Violets in the midfield. Goldfarb applying some ball pressure, but some nice job there by Kelly Keedy as she maintains possession and goes up the far side, puts on the brakes, and she's going to use her right foot to center the ball into the middle of the field, where it's defended nicely by Goldfarb and booted back out, where it's controlled by the Violets. So similar to that first half, a really great start for the Violets on the offensive end. We'll see if Case Western Reserve can weather the storm like they did in the first half, as the ball is controlled by Storty. And the Spartans will look to once again slow things down, as Coach Waddell has had his team ready to go coming out of both the beginning of this game and intermission. So the ball is booted now to the near side of the field. We have number 23, Molly Shama, looking to make a play. Nice job by Shama to force the throw in. So it's going to be the Violets' ball here on their side of the field. Case Western looking to apply a little bit of pressure as it's Shama. The ball ultimately put back towards the middle of the field where we have Rachel Kim, the senior defender who's done a really nice job on the back line so far for the Violets. And they rotated it back across the field to Maladi. Maladi pushes the ball forward. Nobody's home. Keedy, who had a really nice run a couple moments ago, looked a little tired there to look to try to see if she could do it again. And so instead it's cleared out to the Spartans, who now put the ball in the defensive end. It's going to be number 21, Sydney Schneck, fighting for the ball. It's ultimately going to be controlled by the Violets. And then out of bounds from Shama. So some nice action here early on as both teams playing with some juice. How can you not be juiced up with a pep band and a beautiful day like this to open up conference play? So it's going to be controlled here by the Spartans. Hunter Holscher looked to try to make a play. I don't know if she caught an inadvertent knee to the head there. Holscher still down on the ground as she is looking to the referee for a little attention. She's back up as her and Julia Flynn, the junior defender for the Spartans, share a nice moment to say, hey, might have caught you inadvertently, but it was inadvertent. And it's going to remain Spartan possession here. Hunter Holscher, as I mentioned at the top of the show, had a great game earlier this week in which she scored the lone goal in the victory over the University of Scranton. So far today, she's been a little bit quiet. So we'll see if she has a bigger second half as the Spartans look to push the ball into the defensive end. And it's going to be defended nicely by the Violets. And it looks like we're going to have a goal kick as both the Spartans and Violets were vying for that ball, but it was deemed to be off a Case Western reserve. And it will now be NYU ball. We are about 5 minutes into the second half. Still scoreless, 0-0 on DiSanto Field. Conference opener for two of the best teams in the conference. Two of the top 16 teams in the nation right now. As Rachel Kim throws it ahead to Holscher. Great touch by Holscher. She has a teammate wide. She finds her. It is Kalogaris. She's up the left side. She's going to look to center it. Oh, a nice pass to Keedy. Keedy's inside the box. She gets lost of her defender. She fires. Oh, a nice move. She's also losing me. But man, the centering pass misses the head of her teammate. And Kelly Keedy, some great footwork there in the box. She not only got me turned around, but she got Jamie Goldfarb turned around as well. But ultimately the ball goes out of bounds, and it will be Case Western Reserve's possession. So Storty is back, and she will get us underway here as it's played up to the midfield, looking to start an attack for Case Western Reserve. But once again, that defensive line for the Violets, very strong, as Kim finds it out, and it's going to be played by Neal in the midfield. Hope Neal had a busy first half, not so much yet here in the second half, as the ball is cleared, and it's going to be pushed forward towards Sydney Schneck. But another great play by Kim to maintain possession, and the ball is going to be out of bounds. And it's going to be Case Western Reserve's throw. It was Holscher there who was trying to save it for the Violets. But it was Holscher who hit it out of bounds. So the ball here in the middle zone as Kelly Keedy, who's been everywhere here in this afternoon, looks to reset it and get the ball over to the near side, where it's now controlled by Mulati. Mulati looking for her teammate Kalogaris up the line. And it is going to be controlled there by the Violets Junior, who has it near the corner. She's trying to get lost as well, but she is not as successful as Keedy was a moment ago. And the ball is kicked out of bounds, and it will remain the Violets' possession. So Case Western Reserve providing much more defensive intensity here in the second half. And a shot on goal. Man, that was a far shot in the corner from Mulati. And a nice job by Storty to get down and make sure her knees trapped that ball between herself and the turf. And then she was able to wrangle it and get the ball cleared out of her zone once again. So NYU, that was a dangerous ball there. That ball skips and it goes underneath of Storty, or she's not able to trap it. We may have a 1-0 game, but instead the game remains tied at 0. As here come those Violets once again. As Keedy has the ball, it's interrupted momentarily by Goldfarb, But now up the sideline, here comes Hope Neal. Hope Neal with her left foot, looking to try to get clear of the defender. She fires it towards the center of the field, where it's shot but denied by the Case Western defense. And then another shot by Kalogaris, who's had a great afternoon putting shots on net. Puts it wide of the net, and Case Western Reserve, once again, is unscathed. But man, the Violets have come out in both of these halves and put on some real offensive intensity. We're still scoreless, 0-0, just over 36 minutes to go here. As it's Storty in near her net, clearing it out as it hits a Violet midfielder. Keedy gets it out to Holscher. Holscher on the far side. She has some room. She centers it, and it's going to be defended nicely and cleared out for a corner kick. Maggie Storty imploring to her teammates to get that ball out of there. So after a goal kick, it turns into a quick opportunity where two of NYU's best players touch the ball. But luckily for the Spartans, it goes out of bounds, and now we will have a corner kick. It's Mulati in the corner. She lines it up. She puts it in front of the net. A beautiful ball, but it is in front of the net. And it's going to be a goal kick for Case Western Reserve. From my angle here, it looked like that ball even had a chance potentially for the back corner of the net, but it just curved a bit too much. And it's now going to be controlled once again by the Spartans in their own end. Not controlled for long as Hope Neal has it for the Violets. Pushed on back to the back line for Shu. And ultimately back to Mulati. Mulati finds Kim on the far side. And it is Rachel Kim controlling the attack once again. She gets it out to Argiano, who finds Hope Neal in the corner. It's Neal working on her defender. Neal going to fire it into the box. She has a wide open attacker, and it's a goal. Some beautiful soccer there from NYU as Kelly Keedy is the one that finished it off. It was Rena Kalogaris who found her. Instead of taking the shot, she very smartly passed it to the graduate student Keedy. And Kelly Keedy has gotten the Violets on the board, and it's now 1-0 NYU with 34 minutes to play here in the second half. So that consistent ball pressure and action in front of the net finally pays off for NYU. And now we'll see if the Spartans have any sort of response. We quickly have possession here by Schneck, who fires it in. And an aggressive attack there. But man, she put a boot to it. And she hit the crossbar. Not the soccer goal crossbar, but she hit the football goal crossbar. So an aggressive left foot attempt there from Sydney Schneck. So Case Western now going to try and see if they can respond with a goal of their own. For Keedy, that was her third goal of the season. And Keedy has been everywhere today, like her partner in the attack, Hope Neal. So it's fitting that Keedy found the net. Give her 13 points now on the season. Keedy, the graduate student from Los Gatos, California, and this is her 60th career game. And also, that was her 25th career goal. So congrats on the 25th goal there for Keedy. But again, it's going to be the Spartans who are now looking to see if they can even things up. So the Spartans now go on the attack. It's controlled by DePino, who has it tipped away, but it's ended up back into the hands of Saruhouse. Saruhouse going to look to see if she can get it into the center field of play. She has Goldfarb if she wants her. She doesn't see her, and it's stolen. Here comes the Violets up the right side. The Violets will slow things down to wait for a little bit more of their attack to join them. It's going to be Hope Neal, who beats a couple defenders to the ball, and now is going to look once again to see if they can get Kalogaris open on the left side. Instead, it's back to Keedy. Keedy with a nice first touch, who gets it up to Neal. Neal puts it forward, looking for Hunter Holscher, but Holscher not able to control, and it's into the arms of Storty. So Maggie Storty kicks it from the top of her goal box, looking for DePino. Looked like it might have clipped her arm, but no call there. So it's going to go forward to Case Western Reserve. They're in the attacking zone. A nice pass there for Sydney Schneck. Schneck just had a nice shot attempt to hit the crossbar. She beats Rachel Kim. Looks in the center of the field. Nobody home. It goes back to the top of the goal box, where it's played nicely by Case Western Reserve. They're fighting. It's DePino. No foul. The fans wanted a foul. DePino fell to the ground, but no call, as the referee wagged his finger and said no call there. Controlled once again by Goldfarb and the Spartans, but the pass does not find her teammate, and it's once again controlled by the Violets. So the Violets once again controlling possession, but you can tell once the Spartans gave up that goal, that attack has been rearing and ready to go. The key now, though, is they can't allow a second goal, and just as I say that, the defense lets it get by, but a nice heads-up play by Storty to not let Holscher get that one. And so it's going to be Case Western Reserve who maintains possession. And another turnover on their own end, this time controlled by number 30, Tonthat. But Tonthat cannot find Holscher. And so it will be back to the Spartans, as we now have about 30 minutes to go here in the first half of the UAA opener. And the number 12 Spartans on the ropes, as they now trail the number 16th ranked NYU Violets 1-0. If you're just joining us again, it was Kelly Keedy who was able to find the back of the net on a beautiful pass from Rena Kalogris. And a nice play there by the Spartans to get it away from Rachel Kim, but a nice job by the Violets to prevent a breakaway. It is going to be DePino in the middle of the field. A nice move, but she is pressured there, and now a foul on DePino. So Bryce Chan and DePino have had some good action here in the second half. There, DePino in her arm for arm trying to gain possession, but ultimately a foul on DePino. And so it's a free kick, and now NYU possession as we get under 30 minutes here. Plenty of time for the Spartans if they would like to try to knock this thing up, as Hope Neal with some fancy footwork to maintain possession. And it's now Rachel Kim as well, who gets into the midfield as she boots it forward, looking for Hunter Holscher, who can't get a foot on it, but it is defended nicely by the Spartans. And it will be a throw-in for the visitors. So we have our first substitution of the half, as it looks like that's Kaylee Bannock coming into the game for Case Western Reserve. We have a few more substitutes that are warming up on the sideline. You have to imagine Case Western Reserve thinking about knotting this thing up and getting some scorers on the field. As nicely done there by Goldfarb to win possession for the Spartans, is now cleared out at midfield, and some great footwork there from Shu, although it's ultimately booted back into the other end. We're going to have a foul, and looks like that foul is on NYU. So it will be Case Western Reserve's possession, where they should get a free kick near the Spartan logo in center circle with about 28 minutes to play in the second half. So they boot it into the box, where it's played by NYU, booted off of a couple heads, where it then is controlled right back down to Case Western Reserve. Kinsley Gutman has it, where she crosses fields, but that ball is not going to find her fellow defender, but it is played nicely there by Shama. And that ball goes off of Shama's head and maintain possession for the Violets. So Shama providing pressure as the Violets tic-tac-toe their way around. Hunter Holscher now has the ball, although it is defended nicely by Katie Rischel. And they're going to call that foul on NYU. So Holscher gets called for the foul. But the free kick, once again, is stolen by NYU, who is just faster to the ball on so many of these opportunities here today. The centering pass is to nobody but Case Western Reserve, and it's controlled by Sassauer. And Sassauer still with a quiet afternoon so far. We'll see if the Spartans can get her in a position to put something towards the net here in the second half. As NYU continues to possess the ball here as they enter the attacking third. It's pushed out wide to Kalargaris, who leaves it for her teammate. It's Mulati up the side, looks to center it, and it's deflected, controlled by DePino. And let's see if the Spartans can get something upfield and going. It is Sydney Schneck up the left side, and what a great play by Rachel Kim. Rachel Kim able to get in there, deflect the ball. And now there's a penalty, and there's a foul on Sassauer as she was wrestling with Kim. And so it's going to be another free kick here for the Violets. Definitely some ramped up physicality in the second half as a few more arms are being raised and feet to go in feet first for these balls, as both teams know how important it is to get off to a good start in conference play. And with Case Western Reserve on their home turf, this would be an absolutely huge win for this Violets program in their second season under Scott Waddell. So the ball is cleared into the defensive zone for the Spartans. Managed nicely by Gutman, who gets it out to Storty, and Storty just clears it out of bounds. And so it will be a throw for the Violets as we have a couple of substitutions here on the field. One of those being for the Violets, the exit of Mulati. And coming into the game for NYU, Maddie Zhang. So Zhang now will be on that back line to try to help the Spartans stay out of the net as the Spartans force a goal kick. And we certainly will see some intensity and purpose ramp up here as the Spartans now are under 25 minutes away from the end of this game. That substitution also brought back in Taylor Brackett, who had a great first half, and the freshman with fresh legs here, hoping to give the Spartans some more much-needed energy and perhaps a boost to get them knotted back up at one here at home. As during the stoppage of play, we will have another substitution. This time it is Taunthat coming out of the game. And it looks like that is Isa Badillo, who is checked back in for NYU. So as the teams battle in the corner, ultimately knocked out by Brackett, it's controlled by NYU as they look to get the ball towards the middle of the field. That's where Shu is as she gets it back to Kim on the midline. Back over to Shu. Shu being pressured by the Spartans. And the Spartans now the victim of a little bit of keep away from the Violets. And that's just what the Violets want. The Violets want this pace to go down. They want to control the tempo. And they do not want the Spartans to get any more opportunities in front of the net in these final 23 minutes. Goldfarb used a lot of her body there. No foul. And shaken up a bit is the NYU attacker. But there's no call, and Storty got the ball, and she now is going to launch a Case Western Reserve attack, but really played nicely there in the defense by Zong. And it's going to still be fought for as Brackett is fighting with Kalogarus. And it's ultimately won by Case Western Reserve, and it's their throw. But once again, as has happened all afternoon, a lot of these free kicks and a lot of these throw-ins being won by the visitors. And you see there a really great senior heads-up play by Rachel Kim, who now gets it back to Felsher. But that was a great example where her teammates, as Case Western Reserve and their bench is pumped up as they force the throw. But Rachel Kim there coming to the ball to prevent a really drastic bad turnover. And that's what senior leaders do. But now Case Western Reserve does have the ball again. It's Brackett who's looking for her teammate. She's not able to get in between three defenders, but she does win the ball back. And that's where Goldfarb gets it. And she kicks it back over to the far side of the field. The Spartans looking to get a goal, their first goal of conference play, and knock this thing up at 1. It's a center cross that's ultimately kicked out. So that was Bryce Chan who knocked that out, but the Spartans here maybe with some momentum as they are looking to get their first goal of the afternoon. So it's touched there by Welker, but nobody home. And so the Violets get the ball back. They're looking to clear it and just try to get back onto the other side of the field. A nice first touch there gets the Violets some possession, and here they come. So the field has been flipped, and here comes NYU looking to score. But the Spartans interrupt it. And we'll see now if we can get something going on the offensive end for the Spartans. Checking in now to the game is number 30, Maggie Farah. So she now is at forward. And will look to help Case Western get onto the scoreboard. There's Farah, not able to get to that ball first. It is Kim. And it's going to be Case Western Reserve winning possession. Firing it back towards the middle towards Farah, who makes a nice first touch. And there's going to be a foul there, as there's a little bit of a two-hand shove from Mueller. And it's going to be a free kick for NYU. Just about 20 minutes remaining here. It is NYU 1, Case Western Reserve 0. Case Western Reserve has yet to lose this year at home and yet to lose in general, as they have 7 wins and 3 draws, just like NYU does. So Case Western Reserve fighting for a lot here in these final 20 minutes. As they continue to defend here, pressure put on by Brackett. As we have another substitution and entering the game, Maria Nolan, the graduate student defender for NYU. And then the goal scorer, Kelly Keaty, is also back into the game with some fresh legs. Controlled here by Zong, who fires it back to Kim, who's almost like the free safety of this defense, just manning the entire field. NYU has to feel good having such a senior leader and performer on that back line. Her boot, though, is interrupted by the Spartans. It is Farah with a nice job to win the ball. She's going to try to boot it ahead to her teammates. And it is going to be controlled there by Mueller, who centers it towards the middle for Welker. And there's no foul. Looks like she might have been shoved from behind, but no call. That's okay. Spartans have possession. They have Goldfarb, who now gets it back to her defensive line. Got to be careful here with some constant pressure from the Violets. Storty fires it to the sideline. And so Case Western Reserve here with some possession, looking to establish something that's going to help get them the ball in the attacking zone. They find Farah, who can't win that possession, and NYU has it again. And then it's Welker, who is called for the foul. Crowd doesn't like it. It does look like Welker used a lot of her body there to knock number 35, Julia Spang, on the ground. But ultimately, it does wind back up with the Spartans. So kicking it into the offensive end here is the Spartans looking to get something going. That's where you see Riley Felsher with the ball. She was hit a bit earlier on a play, shaken up a bit, but looks like she is totally A-okay. As the Violets maintain possession on their own end here, it's Kim and Zong manning the back line as they look for some support there in the midfield with Badillo. Really nice touch there in the center to get it back open, but a nice job by Mueller to win the possession. Goldfarb now going to try to win it for Case Western Reserve, but unsuccessful. And it's going to be Keedy on the far side who gets it ahead to her teammate, who gets it back to Keedy to try and launch another attack with some great defense there, preventing it from going out of bounds. The ball is in possession of NYU. There is 16 minutes left to play as it goes out of bounds. And we have some more substitutions ahead here. Looks like for both Case Western Reserve and for NYU. Coming out for NYU is Calagrios, while Hope Neal comes back in. And exiting is Goldfarb and Mueller for Case Western Reserve. So DePino, one of the substitutes who has re-entered the game. Again, DePino had 2 shots, including 1 on net in the first half. Being a late sub here with some fresher legs to try to get something going for the Spartans, who've had a really tough afternoon. Uh-oh, a big mistake there. Defender playing with their foot a bit in front of the net, but it is ultimately knocked back out of the box as the Spartans have cleared it. Once again interrupted there by NYU on a pass attempt. Off the arm, it looked like a bracket. We're still play. It's inadvertent. Going up the sideline, NYU crossing it in, and it's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to be a corner kick as it was defended by Julia Flynn. And so it will be another corner kick here for NYU. And while Case Western Reserve has been looking to tie this thing up, another goal here would be big, in that 2 goals in 15 minutes would be a mighty tall task for the Spartans to come back from. So here we go. We got the corner kicking in. The centering pass is knocked out nicely by the defense. Welker pressuring. Welker doing a nice job. It looked like it was off the foot of Keedy. But no, it is not off the foot of Keedy. We trust the umpire there. They're a little closer to that play than me. And so the ball remains with NYU. Some more substitutes as Hunter Holscher checks back in for NYU. And we are slowly starting to get to those starting lineups once again as the game comes to a close. Both teams eager for some points to end the game. That centering pass is controlled by Storty. She's going to wait a little bit to try to get her offense up the field. And a nice through ball there, which is going to be able to get to Shama. And Shama forces NYU to take it out. And so it's going to be a throw-in. Shama calling for it quickly, wants to get this thing back in play. She boots it back where it was controlled by Case Western Reserve. And it's going to be another throw-in. So CWRU House throws it in. CWRU House getting it to Welker now on this throw-in. Goldfarb in the middle of the field. Some aggressive play there by Hope Neal, and they call a foul. So a lot of physical activity in the midfield. Looked like there, Neal got her arms and hands wrapped up in the jersey of Goldfarb. And so here's a chance for Case Western Reserve to maybe put a free kick on net. Shots have been hard to come by today. And this is Rochelle, who tosses it in front of the net. A beautiful ball, and it's headed but saved. As number 5, DePino got a header on it, but that ball popped a little too high in the air, and it allowed for Riley Felsher to get 2 hands on it. And so Case Western Reserve stays off the scoreboard, but those are the opportunities they needed. A really nice kick there by Rochelle, who was able to get that over the defense. But DePino could not get it on net. Although a kick here gets it out to Shama, who now is one-on-one. She's one-on-one with the goaltender, and she scores! She scores! A goal for Case Western Reserve. Molly Shama knots us up at 1. And with 12:38 to go in the second half, we have a brand new ball game. Molly Shama, her 5th goal of the season. And none have been bigger than that one right there. This game, this second half has been controlled by NYU. But a misplay there. It looked like number 11, Hope Neal. And the ball ended up squeaking out towards Shama, who beat the defender and had a one-on-one opportunity with Felsher. And we have a brand new ball game. So the Violets now, let's see if they can shake it off. They have to be a little bit stunned. This second half has been controlled by the visitors. And now all the energy and all the juice is provided by the hosts, who have tied us up at 1. So on the back line again, we have Kim and Zong. Kim fires it up into the box looking for Holscher. Nice job there by Case Western Reserve to make sure it doesn't get to her. And here come the Spartans. They're kicking it forward. They're going again looking for Shama. She gets the touch, and it's controlled by Zong. Nice job there to make sure that we're not going to have a second goal in just a number of moments here. It's controlled now by Neal, who will look to try to set things up. And it's out of bounds off of Holscher. The crowd loves it here. That was Taylor Brackett. And now it's controlled by DePino. But that sub is going to be slowed because there is essentially an entire line shift here. Not sure if that's gamemanship or just the fact that they wanted some fresh legs. But Case Western Reserve was really looking to get that ball in bounds. All the momentum right now towards the Spartans. And they're really looking to see if they can now not only get the point of a draw, but get the win. So there's the throw in. It's fought for, and NYU comes out with it. They're looking for Keedy, who has the 1 goal. It is going to be played towards the middle of the field. This could be trouble for the Spartans. Hope Neal has it as she's looking out to the left side for Kalogaris, who now has it towards the middle of the field, but it's played nicely by Goldfarb. But man, NYU is pesky. They get the ball right back. And it is Mulati now in the defensive area who gets it back to Zong. Got to be careful there, making sure that Shama does not get the goal, as she did previously by getting a mishit. And it's going to be played out. Not able to be controlled by Mulati, but that's okay because it is a throw-in. 10:40 to go here in the second half. We are all knotted at 1 in what has been a great UAA matchup here. DePino pressuring Kim. And man, they are playing hard. And Kim loses it out of bounds. It's going to be turned over back to the Spartans. There is definitely a sign of real energy and life from this Case Western Reserve team and the crowd below me. As it's going to be Case Western Reserve's ball again here on the sideline. You can also notice a little bit of a shift in body language. As Case Western Reserve, their sideline is amped. They're ready to go. NYU, I think a little still shell-shocked that this game now is not at 1 after dominating so much possession as they have. Holscher now has a chance one-on-one. It's a big moment here for Case Western Reserve to control this ball. It's a nice job to make sure by Rochelle to make sure it's not a one-on-one opportunity, but here comes Keedy into the box. Keedy on the right side. She's going to back it back out. And a nice job there by Case Western Reserve to make them reset. It's played into the box. It is Holscher looking to turn and kick and score. She now's got a one-on-one opportunity, and it's saved. Oh, off the mitt of Maggie Storty. First, that was a tremendous effort by Hunter Holscher, but then an even better effort by Maggie Storty to make sure that that ball did not get into the back of the net. And we now have a corner kick with 9:04 to go here in the second half. Blow after blow here by both sides in a great matchup as Maggie Storty collects the corner kick. Oh, Maggie Storty has had a great afternoon here today as she pounces on that ball. And it's still a 1-1 game now as Case Western Reserve will look to get something going on the other end. It's controlled by the Spartans, who plays it ahead to Shama. Shama going to fight Zong for the ball. And look at this pressure now as Case Western Reserve leaving it all out there. They can sniff a win now. They've gotten the draw. They want to try and see if they can get ahead. But NYU, they like to make sure that they don't only draw, but they feel like they've deserved this game. They've earned this game. They want to go down and try to get the win themselves. And here comes Hunter Holscher. She looks, but it's a miscommunication between Keedy and herself. And so it's now going to be controlled once again by Liang. But back to the Violets it goes. Just under 8 minutes to play. The Violets have it on their own end. Case Western Reserve bringing in the energy. That sideline is pumped. As it switched fields now, back over to Kalargaris, who punches it forward, but Hunter Holscher is not going to be able to get there. Storty came pretty far out of the net, but she's now going to retreat. And we have a whistle. It's now going to be Case Western Reserve's ball. A free kick on their own end here. Hunter Holscher, some great energy and effort as that free kick goes right to NYU. Kelly Keedy maintains possession. Kelly Keedy with some great footwork as she's had all afternoon here. Dribbling through the defense. But ultimately the ball is going to be lost. It's Shama, who's been obviously huge for the Spartans in the second half. DePino fights for it. And honestly there, the penalty might have been a detriment to Case Western Reserve because they had some momentum moving up the field as that ball was going to be Shama's. But instead now we will reset the action. We have a free kick and Case Western Reserve is ready to go. So the Violets now on their own end control possession, but they have to clear it. It's out to Gutman, the freshman, who's going to bring it back to the center of the field with Frischil, who gets it back to Storty. Got to be careful here with your touches. 6:14 to play in a 1-1 ball game. As a nice job there by Case Western Reserve to manage possession, but Zong steps up to get the ball back. It's back now to their senior leader, Rachel Kim, as she will fire it up to try to get the attack going, but a nice touch by Gutman, and Gutman gets it back up towards center field. I don't know who that's off of. It is off of Case Western Reserve. Looked like it might have hit the back of an NYU attacker, but they ruled it was Case Western Reserve's ball now because we have a new change of possession. So a nice round of applause there for Shama, who comes out after tying this game. It is Welker back in there as we have another foul, as it looked like that was Welker who got shoved down to the ground looking for a ball. Not maliciously, but it does result in another free kick for the Spartans. 5:27 to go here in the second half. The Spartans have a free kick looking to put another shot on net to try to take the lead. It's into the box. It's touched nicely there by the Spartans. The Violets desperately trying to get it out, and they do, but not for long, as the Spartans do get it centered back in. A nice touch there by DePino, who is looking to get it into the box. Fighting for it there on the outside is Sassauer. It's now sent back in, where it's hit by Zong, and now it's controlled by the Violets, who clear it long. And on that clearance, a really nice job there by Kinsley Gutman, making sure that ball does not get by her and allowing Kelly Keedy to get down the field. The Spartans cannot lose number 28 or 13 here in these last 4 minutes. Two players on the attack who have been studs all day for the Violets. Here come the Spartans. Can't get the through ball. As a nice job there by Rachel Kim. What a player Kim is. But the Spartans do keep the pressure on. They have a throw-in. Controlled by Welker. Nice header there. As she gets it up to her teammate. And there is Sassower, who's looking to do something here in the last few minutes of the game. DePino really battling hard over there. Looked like the ball was out of bounds, but there was no whistle. It's now going to be thrown over to the long side of the field. Here comes DePino, and it's off of her upper body and out of bounds. So there's a chance there. From my vantage point, and again, I'm much farther away than these referees are, it looked like some of the NYU players thought that ball was going out of bounds as well. A little bit of a weird stoppage where Case Western Reserve had a little bit of a chance there, but DePino could not control it. And now here comes Holscher. Oh, but what a play by Farb. Oh, great. Goldfarb. She came flying in there, and Hunter Holscher had no idea she was coming. And there's a foul out there on Holscher, and now it's Case Western Reserve's ball. A nice move there by Liang. She maintains possession. It's now played towards the center, where it's controlled by Farah. And up back to Holscher. But that's off of Holscher's foot. We got 3 minutes to play here in the second half. Case Western Reserve won. NYU won. Are we going to have a draw, or one of these teams going to find the back of a net to get an early season conference win? Holscher commits a foul, is not happy with it, and now it looks like she's been given a card. So Hunter Holscher, who's played a very physical game all afternoon long, not happy with the call there, but she will be given a yellow card for that show of displeasure. It did look like there was some physicality there that warranted a blown whistle. We have 2:42 to go here. Case Western Reserve looking to see if they can get a second goal. It is Rochelle who is going to put this thing towards the goal. It's fired in, a nice ball, not able to be controlled, but it is put on net, or at least close by Mueller. And so it's going to be controlled on a goal kick by Felsher, and we have just 2:32 to play. We have some more substitutes coming into the game for one final hurrah. As Brackett re-enters for Case Western Reserve, and Liang exits. So one freshman for another freshman, two really good players Case Western Reserve will have, hopefully, for many years to come. As up the right side, here comes the Violets. Maybe the Violets' last push. Can they try to get a second goal here in the closing minutes? But there she is again. Jamie Goldfarb clears that thing out of there. And it's now pushed up towards the center line. Folks, we got 2 minutes to play. 2:05 to play here on this beautiful morning, and what's turned out to be an awesome game between two ranked UAA teams. NYU controls possession. It's managed there by Neal as she pushes it back to Zong. Zong finds Muladi. Muladi with a nice touch. Brackett and Muladi. Whoa, and there's a push there by Muladi on Brackett. There was a penalty, but don't see that too often, a two-handed shove. I don't know if the referee saw that, but regardless, it's 1:23 remaining, and a little bit of gamemanship here as NYU going to try to make sure Case Western Reserve does not get another opportunity on net. It's going to be Rachel Kim for the free kick as she fires it in, as she's looking for some of her senior leaders down there, but instead it just hits off the head. It looked like that was Badillo, or one of those attackers up there. And now there's 1 minute to play. So it's going to be an opportunity for the Spartans. One last gasp. It's Brackett who controls it, but it's stolen away there by NYU. Some aggressive play there. Holscher gets the ball. She's going to fire it up to Keedy. This could be the last gasp. Can Keedy manage? But no, there is a whistle. And it's going to be Case Western Reserve's ball with 31 seconds to go. Storty is going to bring it up to where the foul was committed. which is near the football field's 20-yard line. It's now going to be booted ahead. Welker's looking for it. She boots it ahead. It's a beautiful ball. It's a beautiful ball to Sassauer. She's on the box. She fires it in. It's saved. It's saved. Unbelievable. Riley Felsher makes the save. And as the final seconds wind down, this game is going to end in a 1-1 draw. Unbelievable. What a beautiful touch by Welker, who found Sassauer. And an unbelievable save by Riley Felsher. And this game, deservedly so, ends in a 1-1 draw as both teams put out an incredible effort, especially here in this second half. And what a game to open up UAA play. And both teams will walk away with a 1-1 draw. And both teams will remain undefeated as their records will move to 7-0-4. Whew, need to catch my breath after that ending. Almost a goal at the buzzer there for the Spartans. But you have to think that the Spartans, especially after trailing for a large part of that second half, have to be thrilled with their intensity and effort to get back in this one and earn that draw. While NYU, while they likely can't help but be disappointed that dominating play that they were dominating for so long in this game ends in a draw, they also have to feel quite fortunate now that they're walking home with a draw. And if it wasn't for their graduate student, Riley Felsher from Pennington, New Jersey, I do not know if they would have that draw. So a really great effort by both goaltenders here today. A very well-played game. And again, Case Western Reserve and NYU both draw and start their conference play without a loss. So as you can see, we now have the men's teams that are onto the field here. And in about 30 minutes, we will return to action here at DiSanto Field. So until then, I've been Brendan Dames, and I will see you again in just about half an hour for the matchup between the NYU men's soccer team and the Case Western Reserve men's soccer team here at DiSanto Field. We'll see you in just about 30 minutes.